Jinkies! What's up, guys? It's me, Velma, and Scooby. And not a different dog. The 2002 classic live-action Scooby-Doo the movie, not to be confused with the live-action 2009 Scooby-Doo movie that I didn't know existed until now, is a movie I remember and look upon fondly. And I remember watching it like several times because we had it on DVD as a kid, but I couldn't remember more than 2 things about it as an adult. And this was confirmed because I called my mom last night and I told her I was making this video and she was like, I don't remember this movie. And I was like, we literally had it on DVD. So apparently adults just get hit with like this forgetting ray from Men in Black about this movie. This movie doesn't exist in the adult world. I remember that Shaggy really liked the name Mary Jane.
I'm Mary Jane.
Like, that is my favorite name.
Really?
Yeah.
And the scene where there's a monster emerging from Velma's unnecessarily low-cut chest. Where the monsters in this movie look directly out of Jak and Daxter or just any PS2 game ever. And Simple Plan. Simple Plan was my favorite band as a kid, and they did 2 songs in this movie, so I definitely remember that, but I'm getting ahead of myself. As a kid, I loved the 1988 animated show, A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. They had reruns of it when I was a kid because I wasn't alive in 1988. The reason I wanted to cover this movie is because I watched it last night in light of Halloween, and it is worse than I remember. And that makes me so happy. If you've been here a while, you know that I unironically love bad movies, even if they cause me physical and mental pain. And this is no different. The only thing I kept thinking the entire first hour of this movie was, oh yeah, this is 2002. This guy is the year 2002. And this is his brother, 2001. And there's a completely random scene where the band Sugar Ray is performing. If you don't know, they're the band that does I Just Wanna Fly. Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, baby. That one. So we're aggressively in 2002. And no one questions why their whole group is dressed like that. It's just a branding thing in this era, I guess. You know, it actually made sense at first because the series originally took place in the 60s and 70s. But now, it's probably because their manager said it would differentiate them from the others. Everything's for a quick buck these days, am I right? Everything's just marketing. Everything is just marketing. So Scooby and the gang are fighting and no one feels appreciated, so they all quit. Oh, and they're famous because, of course. And we get the fastest time skip just a couple minutes into the movie. So we fast forward 2 years where everybody's off solo, Riding Solo by Jason Derulo. And there are moments in this movie where I had to take a good look at myself in the mirror and question my taste in comedy.
This is primo. Oh, man. Talk about toasted.
It's simple yet effective. I don't know what you want from me. The whole gang gets invited to solve a mystery on this spooky theme park island, so they're forced to work together again, and security is just okay with this. Everybody seems to know that Scooby is, in fact, not a grandmother, so I'm confused at why TSA will take my lotion, but let this very strange and, dare I say, suspicious person through security. No one seems to care that Scooby is a huge dog. They definitely don't let dogs that big in the cabin of airplanes. And they got no repercussions for that. And this guy just hands the phone over to Scooby.
I got a call for a Mr. Do.
Melvin Do?
Scooby.
Hello?
And only afterward is like, wait a minute. And you know, with an $84 million budget, they did not pay their CG team enough or at all. They might have been volunteers from the local high school because there are just endless examples of terrible CGI.
Say, Grandma! Bad, Grandma!
Now let me go so I can...
I feel like even for 2002, this was bad. Actually, I think I'm wrong. We had Jar Jar Binks, The Mummy Returns. They made The Rock look like the PS2 version of himself. But in Scooby-Doo the movie, there are so many times where the monsters ravaging the island will grab people, and it just looks so poorly done. And Shaggy has to grab these souls, and he's definitely just pretending to grab something, or just pretends to push Scooby off of him. So they arrive on the island and were greeted by none other than Mr. Bean. I completely forgot he was in this movie, and somehow also forgot that he was British.
Oh, no, I can be pretty spooky when called upon. Rawr, rawr.
I'm just used to him going, "Buh, duh." You know, I don't register where the bean is from. I just experience the bean. So he's the guy who invited all of them there to solve this mystery because the college kids are all turning into weird, aggressive zombies. And that's exactly how everyone's conservative uncle will describe kids these days. And throughout the whole film, it's just confusing on what's a themed attraction and what's actually real. Like this island ritual that everyone seems to be enjoying, but he's actually the bad guy. And then this guy doing voodoo randomly on the beach. Does he live here? I thought this was a theme park island. Does he work here? Who is he? And I didn't want to bring this up, but there is just something off-putting about the only black character in this movie being the voodoo crazy island guy. And now they're in this abandoned ride in the castle, and the workers are trying to stop them from snooping around. But didn't they get invited here with the sole purpose of snooping around? As a kid, I was always confused by the plot of this movie, and as an adult, I thought I was just a dumb kid. I mean, I was, but this one wasn't on me. I gotta apologize to childhood Gabby, because the plot actually does make no sense. And this movie does know what it is, and I like how it doesn't take itself too seriously. I like how it combines cartoonish haptics with live action at times, like how when they see someone coming, they quickly disguise themselves as the animatronic statue guys real quick. But besides that, I'm strapping in for this ride. At least try to make the journey coherent. So they find and steal this mysterious artifact that means nothing to this film. It literally doesn't matter. Velma gets drunk and talks to this guy once. This is important. And then monsters break in and start making people pass out from having really stinky breath. And that's what's making the college kids turn into zombies and be really huge fans of Sugar Ray. Because the next day, it's just Shaggy, Scooby, Daphne, and Mary Jane, I guess. And everything is seemingly back to normal. So they're confused, and they know something's up. Oh no, guys, watch out, Sugar Ray's gonna get ya! And since Velma gets her soul sucked and turned into a stinky breath zombie, she gets the most random wardrobe change. They made her have the most low-cut shirt they could possibly find. Actually, they did the same thing with Daphne, and she didn't even get transformed. I'm not against it or anything, it's just like, why? Why did you make that conscious wardrobe decision? Her outfit was perfectly fine before, and then you remember, it's 2002. Of course they would. A 2002 comedy without a pair of honkers in your face is not a comedy at all. Actually, while researching this video, which translates to I googled the movie, I found out that this movie was originally rated R. So they CGI'd their cleavages in post so as not to offend. Wow. I mean, a pair of honkers was simultaneously the most desired and the most censored thing in the early 2000s. So there's that side of things, but also Velma was explicitly gay in the original script. But they said it kept getting watered down and more ambiguous because of studio pushback. And then you remember, it was 2002. Justice for gay Velma. That's all I'm saying. A 2002 comedy also isn't complete without an overly drawn-out fart scene. I also just want to take a moment to say that Fred does a great job. He has such Kenergy. If this was casted today, they would have tried so hard to get Ryan Gosling in this role. But actually all the casting choices were pretty spot on, especially Shaggy. So somehow Shaggy finds this cave with everyone's souls in it, and that's how we find out what the monster's stink breath does. And he grabs the souls of his friends to send them back to their bodies, and then purposefully puts back the people he doesn't know. Like, why wouldn't you just free everyone's souls right there? Why do you have to pick like 3 of them? There's no one watching you.
So much you saved me, thank you. Sorry,
No, Shaggy, send him back. Why? So Velma gets her body back and expels the monster from her very exposed chest. And then you start to realize something. If the monster's stink breath steals your soul, and allows the monster to actually take over your body, why did that not happen when they stole their souls? They were just like actively walking around afterwards. And it's explained that they need the bodies because they burn in sunlight, so they were using the human bodies to walk around during the day. I don't know. I wasn't kidding. Nothing makes sense. I'm having a blast. We get a classic cliche Freaky Friday body change scene.
I can look at myself naked.
Forgot we're in 2002? How could I forget?
Red keeps touching me.
And whatever, you get this whole ending scene where there's a ritual, but to do that, they need the purest soul of them all, Scooby's. Again, why did they invite the whole gang here? I'm still so lost on this. They could have just invited Scooby and Shaggy. They were already going without the brains of the rest of the crew. There's a big fight scene.
Nobody absorbs my pal.
Mr. Bean is actually Scrappy-Doo in more terrifying CGI. Scrappy-Doo has the most disgusting CGI transformation from absorbing souls that I've ever seen. The CGI in this movie makes me miss Twilight's scary baby. Daphne fights this WWE wrestler guy because that's what she spent her 2 years hiatus time skip doing, because she didn't want to be the damsel in distress anymore.
Now who's the damsel in distress?
And this fight scene is pretty cool. They had a lot of fun with it. But what is happening in this scene? Scrappy sneezes on him, it cuts to Shaggy, and then Scooby is suddenly falling off the ledge he was just standing next to a second ago. It's like he was being sucked in by seemingly nothing. And Shaggy, to save him, also jumps in the hole? Hey, what's up? It's Editing Gabby again. So I just realized Shaggy jumps and grabs Scooby's tail and drags him with him. That's what happened. But it happens so fast, you don't know what's going on. Like, there probably should have been an extra shot of Shaggy's hand grabbing Scooby's tail, if that's what they wanted to portray, because that is, you cannot tell at all. Wrestler guy falls and spills the soul bucket and gives everyone their souls back, like how Shaggy could have done 30 minutes ago. And the monsters fucking explode. And Velma's just kind of wiggling around during all this. So Mr. Bean wasn't real. But don't worry, because the real Mr. Bean was just trapped underground for 2 years. But he's okay now. And you're telling me Scrappy-Doo, in lieu of wanting to best the Scooby Gang, was capable of presumably buying an island, constructing a theme park, teaming up with and controlling weird monsters, which is just not explained because it's specifically stated in this universe by Fred that monsters and ghosts just don't exist.
Absolutely no such thing.
So I guess they just do. They just Scooby-Doo. And then Scrappy steals people's souls to become more powerful. Send this pup to the pound, am I right? And then Velma gets together with this guy that she talks to once, as if they'd been romantically involved this whole time. You talked to him once, plastered, and you're not even straight. We don't even know his name. All I know is that she just straight up looks at the camera as they're leaving the building to meet the press, and in like 5 seconds, Mr. Bean is just clean shaven and ready to talk to the press. Fred lets Velma have her moment, and everyone's happy again. Actually, this guy is 2002. So, that was definitely a movie. It knows what it is, I think. Overall, it gets a... yeah, I liked it. Out of 10. It was enough to fulfill that urge when, like, you have this nostalgia memory about this one movie, and you're like, I just want to experience it again. And I did. And those are the extent of my thoughts. Would you believe me if I told you that this movie was written by none other than James Gunn, the same guy who directed the Guardians of the Galaxies? Or how about the Suicide Squad? Overall, I'm glad that I can keep reliving and sharing my childhood movies and memories and films with you all. Make sure you subscribe to see other videos by me, Gabby Belle. Stick around. Follow me on Instagram. Thank you, patrons. Bye. What's new, Scooby-Doo? And then after you, we're gonna solve that mystery. What's new, Scooby-Doo? La 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 la, la 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 la.
Thank you! Bye!